what are the key sectors we need to keep targeting? Many of the investors or traders is waiting is the election results, right? So June 1st, which is on a Saturday, we'll be getting the pre-election polls, right? So we'll get a indication of which party is going to establish the government. Pre-exit polls will signify the number of seats and all that. But yes, markets will not react on Saturday. It will be reacting on June 3rd, Monday, right? June 3rd, it will be reacting. Even on June 4th, where the actual results are out. So that's the day where we can see volatility. So June 3rd, June 4th, those 2-3 days will be little volatile days for the market. It can be either on the upside or on the downside. So anyone who are like conservative investors or beginners, starters, or even weak hearts, right, should stay away from the short-term trading. Just watch out, look out for the opportunities. So someone who are starting out should be very, very careful during that high volatile days. So in this discussion, what we will do, let's say if things are going out as planned, right? So if there is a clear majority which is coming for any of the party, right? We will not discuss on anything on the political discussion here. So if any of the parties establishing a clear mandate and the number of seats are also as expected, right? So if the market is cheering up and if the present government is again continuing where the chances are high, it's the matter of the number of seats, right? That is where markets will get a surprise. So if that is happening, there is a lot of capital infusion or there is a lot of focus which has happened already in some existing sectors, right? In some key areas of capital goods where there should be a huge development growth in the coming years, right? In the last 10 years, there has been a huge investment going on. So which sectors will further flourish or which sectors we should be focusing more? Let's discuss today. It's not that immediately we will go and enter into it, but yes, we will have a holistic approach on where should be our key area to focus on, right? There are multiple opportunities in the market, but where there should be a key observation we have to do, we'll discuss, right? So do not consider them as a recommendation, a tip, or a suggestion. Do not go immediately buy or sell any of these companies which we discuss now. It's just the discussion, right? Or the sectors which we discuss is just that a food for thought. Okay. So let me share my screen and let's discuss on what should be the key sectors where we should be focusing for this entire year FY 2025 and further going ahead. And recently, if you look at the budget wise, right? The budget also have given a clear mandate that majority of the funding or key areas of focus for the government are couple of areas, be it like your capital goods, like even into the defense, railways, infrastructure, transport related, right? So these are the key areas where there is a huge amount of budget that has been allocated, right? That has been allocated. For example, yes, defense as a category, if you see, compared to the present budget versus the previous budget, there has been a good growth. And even with the kind of a geopolitical tensions which are happening in the entire globe, I would say, right? Be it like the Russia-Ukraine conflict, couple of quarters before, right? The Iran-Israel conflict, and even on the Asian waters, there is a huge presence of US military, right? So India, it is a must for us to get more stronger in defense. And China as a country spends the highest in defense. And if you see the kind of investment that is going year on year into their defense equipment is in an exponential graph. So India, which is a developing country, aiming for the third largest economy in the world, defense is one where government's focus will be heavily on it, right? The reason I'm saying, there are many people who feel that defense has already moved in the last 1.5 year, 2 years, majority of the stocks. Yes, someone who have been attending our live sessions, like in October 22, if you go back to your weekly mastermind session module, and October 22 itself, we have spotted many of the defense companies. From there, your stocks like HAL, your Cochin Shipyard, Mesogon have been like 6x, 3x, 4x return, but still there is a lot of room there, right? There is a lot of room. Similarly, road transport. Yes, India is the country which is the second largest in terms of its road network or in terms of its national highways network, right? And when there is a huge population growth wise, right? Huge population growth, there is a huge population growth. Similarly, when there are more companies which are establishing in India, and if we wanted an economic development, logistics should be smooth. So in the road transport space also, in the national highways, infrastructure wise, there is a lot of room for development. Railways, one of these sector where in the last 2-3 months or even last 4 months, it has been flat. Means it is just consolidating, right? It has just created a base. But in the last week, it has given a great breakout. And if you build a custom index for only railway stocks, it is showing a clear breakout, right? From the last 4 months, railways is at a very good breakout before the earnings season, right? Yeah. So majority of the railway related companies, they're when they're announcing their earnings much before that it has started its move, right? So post earnings you'll be getting a more clarity on it. But railways is also a very good segment where if we connect the dots for the road transport, for the national highways to improvise on the logistics wise, railways form a very, very important subsector there. And the kind of investments going into the wagons development, the new trains, Vande Bharat trains, right, to reduce the transit time between place to place, railways form a very, very important role. And India is the country, I repeat, India is the country where every day, in some or the other part of the place in India, a new 5 kilometers and above railway network is being constructed. India is only the country, right? So railways, yes, forms a very, very important segment or a very important sector we need to watch out for. Next comes green energy. Yes, green energy, you look at from earlier from 4,975 crores to an 8,500 crores, right? Almost like double kind of an increase in the budget related, right? National Green Hydrogen Mission from a 297 crores to 600 crores, right? It has almost doubled. And what is the necessity? Yes, with the increase in population, with the increase in transportation, right? Usage of the traditional fuel system, maybe like a petrol or a diesel, there are disadvantages to it, right? There are cons, be it on the exchequer, right? The government wise, it's a huge spending for them, it's a huge expenditure. It is impacting on the pollution wise, right? And people from Delhi, Gurgaon would be facing the heat, right? During winter, during the foggy season, you know how much pain it is because of the pollution wise, right? Pollution. And in order to improvise for a longer term, even on a weather related, right? It is a must. We need to slowly migrate into a green energy, right? Or a clean energy, solar energy. It is a must segment, right? It is a must segment. So these key segments are something we need to go and deep dive, right? We need to go and deep dive. And in the defense space, right? In the defense space, if you look at it, yes, any of these companies where you see a good order book, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, or even your Mesogon Dock, your Cochin Shipyard, right? Many of these companies which has a very good order book, and if they are able to execute the orders in a perfect way quarter on quarter, that leads to the next leg of the stocks movement. Because please understand, if you look at the market capitalization of the stock, which is nothing but the current market price into the number of outstanding shares, right? Into the number of outstanding shares. So more or less the outstanding shares will remain the same until and unless the company is infusing or they are buying back the shares, any corporate event that will impact. So if that order book is materializing, yes, it has an order book of 500 crores, and in every quarter wise it is able to execute like 100 crores of a book. So that will come into the revenues of the company, and depending upon the expenses, it will be booking the profit, it will be booking the margins, like that. So when the net profits increase, when the earnings per share increase, automatically your market price will be increasing, right? Will be increasing. So majority of the defense related companies, because of indigenous manufacturing, which means make in India, right? Manufacturing within India. And earlier, defense related companies used to export the software related or export some of the key components. Now there has been a restriction, right? So from the Ministry of Defense, there has been some restriction. They have clearly mentioned these are the parts which should be manufactured indigenously within India, right? So with that kind of a focus, definitely this is a sector where we need to keep focusing, and any company within the sector where we are seeing the good execution of order book should be in our radar. Road transport, yes, infrastructure plays a very important role within the segment. Yes, companies like your L&T, Larsen and Toubro, your GE Power, right, your IRB Infra, HG Infra, right, have been doing very well. And any company which is closer to the breakout should be in your radar, right? Should be in your radar. So yes, the stock has been consolidating and it is just breaking out the resistance zone. Closer to the breakout is a more safe zone for you, right? Is a more safe zone for you. And railways, yes, railway sector for the last 3 months, 4 months have not moved anywhere, right? It has been in a consolidating, or it has been in a flat mode, right? Flat mode. So Titagarh rail system, or even if you look at IRFC, right, which is giving a clear breakout, and in the last 2-3 trading sessions, we have seen a good increase in the price and the volume even before the earnings, right? So this is a sector not to be played on a 3 months, 6 months horizon like that, like a 1 year, 2 years, 3 years horizon. Railways will be doing good if the same government is continuing and the same kind of an expenditure or the budget is going to the key areas of development. We can see railway sector with the modernization, with the improvement in the logistics transportation, we can see a further growth within this segment, right? Within this segment. And lastly, green energy. In order to sustain this kind of a population in India, and in order to facilitate, right, in order to facilitate the entire smooth transportation, both on the consumer wise or industrially on the logistics, if we need to look, clean energy is very important, right? And some of the companies where they focus heavily, right, where they focus heavily on these related, this theme is like Tata Power, KPI Green, right, your JSW, Ware Renewables, Power Finance Corporation, Borosil Renewables, IRADA Limited, right? IRADA also is at a very good breakout during the IPO levels, when it has had a very good move for the first couple of months, and after the consolidation, now also it's showing a good breakout, right? So these are some of the sectors, right? These are some of the sectors where it's not that immediately we go and jump into it, considering the kind of an election mandate we get, right? And if the same government is continuing and the same kind of an expenditure goes into these key sectors, we can see a very good movement going on for the upcoming sectors. And stock market is not difficult to sail through, just that we have some process, just that we have some system that is built, and the key areas where government is focusing on the key areas where majority of the institutions are entering, where we see a very good volume. That is the segment where we need to focus. So I hope everyone loved this discussion. If you have loved this discussion, right, type it as love in the comment section. Yeah, thank you.